everyone. Welcome to your pick a card reading. Today we're going to be doing a pick a card reading talking about your Black Moon Lilith and what messages that Spirit has for you on your Black Moon Lilith. Now, this is a little bit of an interesting, unique reading that just kind of came to me, so I decided I would do it and put it out there for you guys. I'm going to give you just a little bit of a better understanding of what Lilith is and what it represents. Now, of course, I'm not looking at your birth chart with this reading to be able to tell you precisely what your Lilith is in and, what that energy represents personally for you. But this is messages that Spirit wants to give you about your Black Moon Lilith and how to heal that wound that's come to you with your Black Moon Lilith. Now, let's talk a little bit for just a quick second about what Black Moon Lilith is in the birth chart. Different people have different explanations for what it is. And after studying it for a while, what I've really found to be the most true about it, Lilith tends to represent two things. It represents a deep, deep desire within us and a deep, deep traumatic fear. Now, a lot of astrologers believe that, that Lilith represents a wound from a past life that we come into this life with a deep phobia, a deep fear around, and that is where this strong desire to try and fix it, that we're almost a little bit irrational in the way we go about trying to fix it, comes from, is because this shows where we were hurt deeply in a past life that we have carried through with us in this lifetime that we are meant to heal. And it's something that is kind of a hindrance to us in this lifetime if we keep giving into the fear aspect of it. But when we learn how to heal it, it unlocks our deepest power and our deepest capacity to achieve our deepest desires in this lifetime. So that's just a little rundown of how I've been trying to interpret Lilith, and I know there's some other interpretations out there about it, but this reading is going to be focusing on kind of uncovering what that story or what some of the circumstances might have been pertaining to with your Lilith, and what Spirit wants you to know about those past life situations for you, and what they want you to know about how to heal that energy in your life so you can move forward and kind of transform that energy into something that serves you in this lifetime. So with all that said, I know that was a bit of a long explanation, but I just wanted you guys to understand what this reading is about. But with all that said, let's go ahead and pick our piles. This is pile number 1, this is pile number 2, and this is pile number 3. I'll give you a minute to meditate on each of the cards and the crystals, and once you're able to see which one you feel you connect with the most, go ahead and scroll down to the description box, and I'll put the timestamps below so that you can go ahead and skip forward to your reading. I look forward to seeing you in the reading, guys. See you there. Hi, pile number 1. If you chose pile number 1 with this beautiful raw amethyst crystal right here, then this is your reading. I'm going to be diving in right away, talking about what Spirit wants you to know about your Black Moon Lilith, about the energy that you hold with that, and perhaps give us some insights on how to overcome this fear that you've carried with you from a past life. So, with all that said, let's jump on in. We have the Two of Wands, we have the High Priestess, which is a major arcana, which you'll often hear me talk about in readings. That means it presents, if it's a major arcana, that means that it is a major theme in the energy we're talking about. We have the Ten of Pentacles and the Nine of Pentacles. So, right away, pile number one, I'm seeing that your great fear actually has to do with prosperity and wealth. Your Black Moon Lilith, your fear actually connects to money. It connects to value, and Spirit is saying, and owning your value. You might be a Black Moon Lilith in Taurus. You might have it in, Spirit is saying, the 10th house, 2nd house, 6th house. I'm getting a lot of earth energy with this, or possibly in one of the earth signs. And Spirit is saying for some of you, it also connects quite strongly to mutable energy as well, changeability. Because what I'm hearing is that your spirit guides want you to know that you have these interesting kind of, they're saying, phobias. And keep in mind, Lilith creates phobias within us that come through on a subconscious level. So we're not quite sure why they come through, but they come through from past lives. Spirit is saying that you have these phobias around money, whether you really realize it or not, and that those phobias are actually a manifestation of phobias around your value. And they're saying that it connects to the spiritual relationship to money, which, just adjusting my chair, which is interesting because what I'm getting is that you felt in a prior lifetime almost held captive by wealth, is what I'm hearing, by prosperity. And that I'm hearing that there's a couple different circumstances, and that's because this is a collective reading. And so I'm going to give you the different scenarios that they're giving me, and we'll see which one connects with you the most. One scenario is that in a past lifetime you were given way too much, and you had pretty much that you were privileged in a prior existence, and that money and luxury and assets were not a problem. And while Spirit is saying, well, most people would think, oh, what's the big deal with that? How can that be wounding? What Spirit is saying, that actually was like toxic to your soul. That you were put into a position that it was only the material world that mattered, and your spiritual needs were greatly neglected. Your higher self was greatly neglected. Everything was focused upon the material world, and that actually led to some pretty horrific consequences for you, because you focused way too much. And they're saying that it wasn't really your choice. It was the culture, the society, and the family that you were born into, wealth in that lifetime. And that caused you to have certain precepts about money that, or let's just call it abundance, because, this is past life, so it might not have even been money at that time. You guys could have just had a ton of cattle, because the concept of money has changed throughout the ages. So it's about value. You were born into a life of great value, of great privilege, and while it was great for your physical world, it was toxic for your soul. And you saw the toxicity coming through because you witnessed a lot of corruption. You witnessed a lot of hardships put upon others, and you were taught to put off your spiritual side, to put off the empathetic nature that was within you, taught to put off your higher self, taught to put off that which really matters in this world, that which is of true value, which is what I'm hearing is kindness, is generosity, is charity, and that it was kind of like you were surrounded by greed, is what I'm hearing. You were born into either a society, or whatever position you were in society put you into a position that you were forced to be around people that kind of worshipped greed, is what they're saying, and hungered after it, and had a lust for greed, had a lust for more, even though they had so much. And Spirit is saying that this caused some toxicity to your soul because it wasn't your nature. You have this energy of a high priest. Well, they said high priest, so maybe you were, a man in that lifetime, or maybe in this lifetime you are, but they're saying high priest or high priestess, that you had this strong psychic intuition, and they're saying that the psychic intuition just comes from a strong connection to others spiritually. You had and have, they're saying, great empathy within your heart. You have a well of resources of spirituality, of kindness, of charity, of empathy within your heart. And they're saying that it's created a bit of a phobia around money and around value in this lifetime, where maybe you were born either not so privileged, or possibly into the same type of circumstances to help you to face it, to overcome it with the same characters. And like I said, Spirit is giving a couple of different examples here. I feel like it all pertains to, for every one of you that chose this, it all pertains to kind of a phobia around value, is what it is, and around worthiness with that value. So in the scenario I just explained, the phobia is that you have a deep belief that value, that wealth and money is toxic to the soul, because you saw that it was toxic to the soul. You saw how it used and abused others, and how it cut you off from your spirituality, from your higher self, from the part of you that you were born to really express in this lifetime, in that lifetime, sorry. And now in this lifetime, you maybe have some blockages around creating your abundance. Now, the other scenario was that it's pertaining to the exact same thing, having this phobia of manifesting true abundance, but it comes from a different place. The first scenario is that it corrupted your heart, and that it was almost kind of like a drug. That the first scenario was that it was almost like greed was a drug that was being shoved down your throat, and this lifetime you're meant to overcome it. The second scenario is that you were held hostage by money, that you felt like you were put into this position of always having to chase dollar signs, of always having, even if it wasn't dollar signs during that time period, that you were always trying to chase abundance and never feeling like you fully got it, and that you were almost held prisoner by the fact that that it always was this feeling of it's never enough, it's never enough, it's never enough, is what I'm hearing. That you keep thinking this in your head even at this time. And then it created that same toxicity as the scenario number one. And who knows, maybe actually, yeah, what Spirit is saying is that this doesn't have to be two different people. with the two different scenarios, that this could just be two different lifetimes of yours, that, in one lifetime it started out as this, and then the second lifetime you had the same wound that you carried into this next lifetime around money and abundance, and then in this lifetime you're meant to heal it. So it's kind of the evolution of Lilith is what I'm hearing of this great fear. And so what I'm hearing is that with the second scenario, to finish up with that, is that you felt in the second lifetime that you weren't enough. That in the first lifetime, the greed was forced into your soul. You were forced into a world that was only built upon materialism, and they starved your soul of its higher purpose, of its highest goodness. You kind of just got infected by the environment you were in, is what Spirit is saying. And that you are a very high spirit, and it really wasn't meant for you. And it wasn't that you failed or anything. It was just too much temptation of and too much being put upon you. They're saying maybe you were born a royal, and because of that you had all this privilege, but you treated the lower class very badly, very poorly, and you are such a sensitive spirit in general. Your higher self is a very warm, generous, beautiful, they're saying charitable soul. And the people, the family, I'm hearing even bosses that you had at that time, they shoved greed and I don't know what the word for it would be, like putting material things above people. They shoved that kind of thought down your throat until it corrupted your soul, because it was what you were born into. And you came through with that with a scar. Then you incarnated into the second lifetime that you were like, okay, I'm not going to do that again. But you still had that infection in you. I'm just using that as an analogy, the infection of greed in your soul that tainted your soul because they forced it into you, kind of like an addiction that you came through into a second lifetime with the same addiction to try and create abundance. And you were constantly chasing money in that lifetime. And Spirit is saying this is closer to this lifetime. What the problem is that it's like it was insatiable, that you weren't born into privilege in the second lifetime, that you had to earn it. And you chose that because you saw what the privilege did to your soul. But you had this hunger for abundance, not just because of the lifetime that you came from, but also because it was a hunger for a reclaiming of value within yourself, because you felt so like tainted in your value due to what Spirit is saying is self-loathing, because your spirit was upset with yourself for not making a bigger difference with the resources that you had. And in the next lifetime, you have this great hunger to try and fill that void of that value that came from that lifetime. And so Spirit is saying that in this lifetime, it manifests as this huge value deficit within yourself. And that value deficit, they're saying, is not a reflection of who you are. It never was. It was never that you were this awful person. It was all circumstantial. And that you were kind of blinded by it. And Spirit is saying that they don't blame you. You blame you, is what they're saying. You've blamed you, and that's why you carry that with you. And that you healed these parts of you but you won't forgive yourself fully. And the Spirit is saying that you've manifested it in this lifetime as a value deficit, saying, I'm never enough. I have to keep doing and doing and doing for everybody else. That in love, you don't allow yourself to receive. With work, you always feel like it's not enough. You don't own your value. You let people walk over you because in a way you feel you deserve it. You're not asserting yourself the way that you should, is what Spirit is saying. And that they're saying that you come from spiritual royalty. They're saying, not in this earth. They're kind of laughing at the concept of royalty on this earth. I don't know why I'm laughing too, but I guess they're just saying how silly it is, because the only thing of real abundance and real value is actually in the higher realms, and that you come from royalty on that plane. And that what they're saying is the abundance that you are seeking in this lifetime. They're saying that it comes, that is actually a spiritual abundance, is actually what your soul is truly hungry for. And once you realize that, and you start to realize that the void within you can never be filled with anything material. It can only be filled with the spiritual, because that is your true, that's your true inheritance. That's the word they're using. That's your true inheritance. That you have a spiritual inheritance of spiritual abundance, and it's coming through from the other side, and that they want to bring it down into this earth. And they're saying that until you recognize that your true abundance comes from your spirituality, from the gift of your soul, from the gift of your, they're saying from the gift of the purity of your soul. And for you to start to realize the value that you are, that you have no need to feel smaller or to put yourself into positions of feeling smaller. They're saying that you've allowed situations, that you've allowed people to maybe take advantage of you or put you down or put you into a position of ruling over you, which is interesting because they're saying it comes from those other lifetimes where you were the royal. And it was like they're saying that your royal family trained you to put other people into this position of being beneath you. And it was actually a reflection of your family treating you like you were lower, that they even trained you into this. And so they're saying that this is what you're meant to overcome in this lifetime. You are meant to stand up for your true value and to realize that your true value is spiritual, that your true value is an abundance of, they're saying, of ideas, that you have a ton of creative, innovative ideas, and that they're meant to be brought into the world to help the world. But you have to step away from, they're saying you have to step away from the material, like the material fruition, because they're saying like that's just doing things in reverse. Step into the spiritual reward rather than the physical reward and chase the spiritual reward, and the physical reward will come. That's what they're saying. Chase the spiritual reward and the physical reward will come. And they're saying that first off, you have to heal that value deficit within your own heart and soul, because they're saying they want you to see that you really are spiritual royalty, and that is like such higher royalty than any kind of royalty on this earth than we could ever imagine. Let's get some more cards. Pile number 1. Let's see what more Spirit wants to say about your Lilith energy. Pile number 1, just shuffling here. Okay. Pile number 1, we have, ooh, that's so interesting. We got surrender to the divine, and oh my gosh, How funny is this? Were we not just talking about Taurus? I love it when that happens. It just wows me. Okay, that's crazy. That's exactly what we were just talking about. We have Taurus right there, which I really do feel like my pile number ones have Lilith in Taurus, or Lilith in an earth sign, or one of the earth houses, which would be, if you don't know which houses are the earth sign ruled houses, it's house number 2, or the second house, the 6th house, or the 10th house. And Spirit is kind of nodding their head yes at the 10th house especially, because that's, they're saying that deeply connects to the legacy. They're saying the legacy of royalty that's come through with you. You know, it's interesting. They're saying that you should do some genealogy, that you might not know that you are actually related to some very, like, famous people, that you might actually be related to royals and not know it, which is interesting. Ignore my dog in the background. She's making weird noises. But anyway, so with surrender to the divine, and the full moon is really standing out to me right now. The full moon represents a letting go, and I feel like that's what this is all about. You need to let go of this hunger. Like, that's what Lilith represents, as a hunger within us, for something that we feel like we did not, well, it's not that we didn't achieve it, but we feel like we messed it up, and we have like this great desire to fix it. And and Spirit is saying you need to let go of this physical world, of this need to please people in this physical world, of, they're saying, keeping up with the Joneses. They're saying chasing after what's fashionable. Not that you can't be fashionable, there's nothing wrong with that, but having that be the driving force in your life. And also, they're saying having, also saying not allowing yourself to feel prosperous, even when you are, is also a bit of a problem. They're saying that no matter what you do, you're always telling yourself it's not enough. Like, that's what I'm hearing, like, repeated in my head. Like, it's not enough, it's not enough, it's not enough. And that it's like this feeling like you constantly have to prove your value. And Spirit is saying, surrender to the way the divine sees you. Because you have, what I'm hearing is ultimate value. You have unlimited value that will not rust, that will not taint, that will not grow old with time, because your value comes from the highest realms, and they want you to reconnect to that. And they're saying that if you feel like in this lifetime abundance has been hard for you to acquire, then it's because you haven't healed this on the inside. That what's blocking you has nothing to do with external things. It has everything to do with internal things. They're saying you are a pro-manifester, and that anything that's being blocked to you is being blocked by you, not by them, not by the world, not by people or resources. It's being blocked by your own spirit and your own fear of success, your own fear of wealth. This lifetime, you are meant to have abundance again. You are meant to be in that position of status again. But this time, you're going to do it right. And you have to stop fearing success, is what they're saying. And the way you do that is they're saying to connect fully to your spirituality, and to let go of the desire for the physical realm and desire the spiritual gifts that come through what it is you're trying to create physically. And then the physical gifts will come, is what I'm hearing. So what they mean by that is, like, let's say you like want to create a company, and you are feeling so frustrated because maybe you feel like you have created this business, but you don't have all the resources available to you. You're not sure if you're going to be getting the amount of clients that you need. Like you're hitting these hurdles. And they're saying that it's actually the fact that you are focused on like, okay, I need to do more advertising to get more clients. I need to, I need to get a loan. I need to see if I can get an angel investor. I need to network more. You're looking at all these physical things. And Spirit is saying, actually, your astrology is telling you opposite, is what they're saying. Actually, what you need to do is connect to the spiritual side of what you're creating. Look at the product. Look at the value of the product. Put more energy into the value of the product, and that will attract the right people to you, is what they're saying. Some people have to go out there and hustle and network and bring the people to them. They're saying that's not your karma. You need to step into the spiritual value of what it is you're creating, and it will come to you. The clients will come to you. The prosperity will come to you because it's your heritage. It's your, when they say heritage, they mean like karma. It's your right. It's come to you in other lives, and it's going to come to you in this life, but you have to heal that wound to your self-value and realize this time you're going to do it right. This time you're going to use your abundance to bless others' lives, and whatever it is you're creating in this life is meant to bless the lives of many others. So let's pull one more card, and let's see what final message Spirit has for you on your Black Moon Lilith. Oops, this one just came out. Let's see what it says. It says, share your voice. I feel like this one pops up a lot in my pick of cards. We have share your voice, come out of the cave, persecution and expression. Okay. You know, it's interesting. Something we haven't talked about at all is Taurus rules the throat chakra. It rules the voice. And how we manifest is actually from the words we speak. We speak things into fruition. You know, words are so powerful. They're so powerful. They are actually one of the most powerful things. Because if you think about it, that is really what separates us from the animal world. Yes, animals do have their own methods of communication, especially like dolphins and stuff. I know they have ways of communicating, but human beings, we have the capacity to communicate what Spirit is saying is like in a Taurus fashion. What we say, we manifest. What comes out of our mouths is not just to convey information, it is to change the world around us, to open up the minds of others. And what I'm hearing is that this Black Moon Lilith has made you feel stuck in a cave, and has maybe made you hide your voice and hide your capacity for manifesting the life that you really want. It has made you feel like you're just on the, they're saying on the inside looking out. That there's this part of you that is a great leader. There's this part of you that is strong and powerful and feels like it doesn't know how to cross that void of fear to get to the other side, to really create the life that you really want. You kind of feel like an outsider, is what they're saying. Even if you fit in with people, you feel like you're just going through the motions, that you feel, in a way, a bit outcasted. And that has come from another life. You feel outcasted because of your spirituality. You feel outcasted because of you're afraid of the power that's within you, is what they're saying. And the power comes from your voice, from your ability to have these great innovative ideas that can change the world, that will lead to abundance for many people, not just yourself. But Spirit is saying it's time for you to come out of the fear. Lilith puts us in a dark little space, in a cave, and makes us think that we can never come out, that we're trapped, that we're locked in. And that's the feeling from past lives that Lilith creates. But Spirit is saying this is not your destiny. Your destiny is not to stay hidden. Your destiny is not to be small. Your destiny is not to be of low value. Spirit is saying start asserting yourself with your voice. They're saying use affirmations to build your value. Whenever you think something negative about yourself, change it and change it into a positive. Say something positive to yourself. Start to say things about how much value you do have. And that's going to change your world. That's going to change your voice. You're going to see power. They're saying power in your physical voice is going to start to come through, as well as your spiritual voice, is what I'm hearing. Your inner voice is going to become stronger too. And that you're not meant to live your life in a shell. You're not meant to live your life, they're saying in poverty, that you're meant to live a life that you have tools and resources and abundance, because you're meant to use that abundance to help many other people, and that's what your highest soul desires to do. That's why you're trying to create abundance. It's not just for your own sake. It's for the sake of benefiting others, and they're saying benefiting the world. So pile number 1, I hope you enjoyed this reading. If you did, please don't forget to give me a thumbs up, because that really does help my channel to grow. And most importantly, please don't forget to comment below, because that's my favorite part about posting these videos, is I just love hearing from you guys. I love hearing about your personal astrology. I love hearing about if it connected with you, and I love connecting with you guys. So with all that said, if you're not subscribed to my channel, please don't forget to subscribe and ring that bell if you want to see more videos like this, and if you want notifications about every time I upload more videos. The bell will just make it so that it will tell you when I upload more videos. But with all that said, pile number 1, I really enjoyed reading for you today. I hope you have a beautiful, amazing, and blessed day and life, and I look forward to seeing you in the next reading. Bye, guys! Hi, pile number 2. If you chose pile number 2 with this shungite, it's polished shungite, and it's raw on the other side, crystal right here, then this is your reading. Talking about your Black Moon Lilith, and what Spirit wants to tell you about your Black Moon Lilith, and how we can maybe work on healing the wound that has come upon you from a past life. So with all that said, we have the Page of Wands that says optimism, passion, freedom. I really like these cards because they have the little sayings underneath, which is cool. They have, we have the Three of Wands, creativity, passion, expansion, growth. We have the Two of Cups, marriage, partnership, and connection. We have the Seven of Pentacles, patience, persistence, and diligence. So let's get right on into your reading, pile number 1. Pile number 1, your Black Moon Lilith. What's really coming to me, first off, is the wound that you carry with you is one that's actually attached to your creativity and the expression of your creativity. I feel like you are naturally a very talented and creative person. And Spirit is hearing me say you're a little self-deprecating about that, possibly. That you don't see yourself as creative, you don't see yourself as artistic, you don't see yourself as someone that is, the word Spirit is using is fertile with ideas, that you are incredibly fertile. That you have so many ideas that come to you. And Spirit is saying that you have this fear of your creations. You have this fear of expressing your heart in the world. You might be a Lilith in Leo, is what I'm hearing. That you might have Black Moon Lilith in Leo, or in fire energy, possibly in Aries, or in Sagittarius, or in the fire houses, is what I'm hearing. And Libra is coming through too here. Not sure why, but I guess that will come out later in the reading. So, oh, and if you don't know what houses fire houses are, the fire houses are first house, so Black Moon Lilith in the fire house would be first house, fifth house, and ninth house. But with all that said, we're going to be talking about what these cards and what this energy represents. So, Spirit is saying that you have a fear of expressing your heart in the world, and that has manifested as a fear of your own creativity. They're saying that creativity is just the expression of your deepest passion in the world. And they're saying that you have a fear of expressing who you really are, what it is you really think, how it is you really see the world. And they're saying you have such a unique perspective of the world. And that it's even come through that this great fear has manifested even as a blockage, maybe in your heart, as a blockage in love, as a blockage in partnership. And they're saying as a blockage in, well, they're saying children. I don't know quite where they're going with that. But they're likening your creations unto children as well. And they're saying that you're blocking, that you've kind of created these walls yourself, is what I'm hearing. And that it's come from a past life. They're saying that you got criticized and hurt so deeply in a past life I'm hearing by a community. That there was a community that you belonged to in a past existence, and I'm hearing that you were possibly famous in a past existence. So this could indicate a Lilith in the 10th house. Their Spirit is saying actually more strongly Lilith in the 11th house would pertain to this. Now, of course, if you don't have any of these birth chart placements, that doesn't mean this reading isn't for you. I'm just giving you the energy that Spirit is giving me that they want me to pick up on. And this is a general reading, so take it as it resonates. But Spirit is saying that you were in a position of great creativity in a prior lifetime. You had immense talent, and that you had talent that was such an asset that everybody else wanted. That there was great jealousy towards you, that everybody could see the talent that you have, and they utilized you as a resource. And what I'm hearing is they came after you. That's interesting. That the group that you were with, that you were for, turned on you, and they came after you, and they hurt you. And because of that, you not only have a great fear of possibly crowds and the public, but you also have a great fear of expressing your heart in the world and opening up your heart in the world. And they're saying that this could also be connected to a relationship, a partnership, that maybe it was a lover or a marriage partner that turned against you and turned the crowd against you, and that led to, they're saying, it led to public humiliation for you. That you had a horrible public humiliation, and that it scarred you for many lifetimes and made you feel like no matter what it is you create, that it's, they're saying it's not that you think that what you create has no value. They're saying that, that some part of you knows that you're creative, that you were such an overly creative person in a past life. You might have been a Leo South Node with this. That you were such an overly creative, passionate, wholehearted person that you can't help but not have that come through in this life. It's just a part of your being. You are an incredibly passionate and creative, and they're saying fertile, prosperous with ideas, prosperous with divine intelligence, and prosperous with the ability to create beauty out of nothing. And maybe that's where the Libra is coming through with this reading. They're saying that what you've come to fear is the authenticity of your soul, the authenticity of expression, because you were made to feel ashamed for the core of your being, for the core of your heart. And Spirit is saying that that is what made your art, that is what made your creations so impeccable in another life, in a past lifetime, was actually that it was the full expression of your heart. And you were made to feel shunned and made to feel ashamed of the beauty of your art, is what I'm hearing. And what I'm hearing is that you were ahead of your time and they just weren't ready for it. And some souls were ready for it, but I'm hearing that it was like a group, like whether I'm hearing like a group or an institution. So I'm hearing it could be like the church or the government, or the authorities, or possibly, I don't know what that's called. Like in today's world, it would be like the record dealership, like the record industry, or I don't know what it's called within art, but like the people who pretty much own the artists and make sure they get their money and all of that. That it was like the institution that turned against you. It was the group. It wasn't the people. It wasn't, we'll just call them the fans. It wasn't the people that loved and adored your art. People were ready to, people were ready for your art. People were ready for the expression of your heart into the world. But you had these innovative ideas that scared, I'm hearing that it scared the hell out of the group, out of the institution that held control. And what I'm hearing is that's why they decided to kick you off your throne and to make you ashamed of yourself. And that shame you've carried on into this lifetime. And Spirit is saying, this is really standing out to me with the Seven of Pentacles with this card. If you can see that, I know it's hard to see because it's white and it's kind of light and faint. But these are snowflakes. And Spirit is saying that that's what the expression of your heart is. It's so one of a kind. It's so unique. It's so uniquely beautiful. It cannot be replicated by anyone else. But you have been made to feel ashamed of it. You have been made to feel ashamed of your authenticity. You have been made to feel ashamed of your individuality, of the thing that makes you truly you. And that is actually what that's at the core of your being, of what you are here to express, of what you are here to change in the world, is you have this divine gift that comes not from like channeling from the other side. It just is the expression of your heart and soul. You are like this unique snowflake. You are this unique culmination of ideas, of if I just want to use the word art, and when I say art, I don't just mean like, oh, you're a painter, oh, you're a musician. I'm saying that like what you are is art. And what that means is that it is like all art really is just an organization of is just an organized expression of a divine truth that is within you. And that divine truth is the expression of your soul. And Spirit is saying, you have blocked your heart. You have been afraid to put it out there in the world. You have been afraid to show the world this unique little, they're saying this unique little lotus flower, which is interesting. That you're just like this unique, beautiful flower, and it doesn't have to, be a flower if you don't identify with that analogy, but like that you are this unique individual that is just put together so beautifully, and that there's nothing more beautiful than your heart, and yet you have been made to feel ashamed of it, to the point that you won't even allow yourself true love. You won't even allow yourself true passion. They're saying you won't allow yourself. They're saying it also blocks your connection with children. I don't know if that means, well, they're saying it doesn't really mean having children. It can, but they're saying like there's a part of you that maybe even would be called to working with children, or just like, because when you take care of children, that lets your inner child out. And that there's a part of you that is afraid to express that full-hearted, silly, pure expression of who you really are. That's, that doesn't have one shred of shame, that isn't trying to be an adult in a situation, or, trying to be proper, or trying to be, I don't know, a rule follower. That there's a part of you that wants to come out, that just wants to be purely expressive and purely just full of the joy of life with no meaning is what I'm hearing. Just like in this pure, vibrant expression of living in the joy of love of life and the play of life, without having to feel like you have to play any role. That it's just you are the star, and having the freedom to be the star and express the full capacity of your heart is what I'm hearing. And they're saying that you need to find situations that allows your inner child to come out and play, that you can feel safe now, that it's okay, that you had this great humiliation, is what I'm hearing, put upon you in a prior life, that made you ashamed of your heart. It made you ashamed of the thing that made you the most beautiful. And they're saying that you're here to heal that. And that as you heal this expression of the love within your heart for yourself, and they're really emphasizing it's the love for yourself that needs healing, not the love of others, then you will attract also the right partners to you. Because they're saying that you do have a divine connection on the spirit realm with somebody else, but that person cannot come into your life until you've healed this divine expression of your authentic self, because that person connects to the most original, unique, and I'm hearing maybe even strange parts of yourself. That this person is in love and will be in love with the weirdest parts of you. That's who you're supposed to be, is purely and authentically strange, individualistic yourself, and unabashedly yourself. That you need to connect with a part of you that has no shame of your expression, because that's where we create from. And that I'm hearing that your heart needs this, and that everyone else in the world needs this, because they were robbed of your art. Because I think in the past lifetime you stopped with whatever it was you were creating and allowed the shame to take over. But in this lifetime, I feel like if you tap back in to that part of you that just plays and is carefree and embraces the strange in you, embraces the weird and the unique and maybe even the radical parts of you, then that's really going to heal. That's really going to heal this. And they're saying it's going to heal rapidly, that it's going to be kind of like a flame consuming things, that it's just going to be like a little spark, and it's just going to go because of how powerful your heart is and how powerful your spirit is. And they're saying that's why the dark wanted to block this, is because the power of your heart could bring so much light into the world, and it was starting to bring so much light into the world, and that's why the dark stepped in and created this block in you. And Spirit is saying maybe that's why you were drawn to this crystal. I like this shungite crystal because it kind of almost looks a little bit like a blade, but it's not sharp at all, of course. And but just cutting away, imagine that this is what you need to do, is to cut away this negative energy that has allowed itself to bind unto you, to hold you captive, with shame is what I'm hearing. Shame that did not belong to you. Let's get some more cards. Pile number 2. Okay. So shuffling right now, a couple of cards. Pile number 2. Pile number 2 on their Black Moon Lilith. Full Moon Eclipse. It's a pretty card. I don't think I've ever pulled that one before. We have faith in your dreams. And Spirit is saying to pull one more. So we have step out of your comfort zone. Okay. Interesting. It seems like I find this very interesting. You have 2 cards that are relating to eclipses. One with the full moon eclipse represents the south node, and then the north node always represents the eclipse point. And have faith in your dreams. So I think Spirit is calling you to start to believe in your heart again. You know, the butterfly is really standing out to me. And they're saying that you've been kind of a caterpillar for a while. That you've been trying to blend in with your environment, been trying to act like you're just like all the other bugs. Not that they see you as an insect, but they're using this as an analogy, obviously. But that you've just been trying to like pretend like, oh, I'm just like all the rest of you insects out here. But the caterpillar is different. The caterpillar can transform. The caterpillar can grow wings, and not just any wings. The butterfly is such a beautiful insect. I mean, think about it. Lots of bugs have wings. We don't sit there and say, oh, they're so pretty. We don't put pictures of bumblebees on our shirts. Well, I mean, maybe some clothing design companies do, but there's lots of shirts with butterflies on them because they're so pretty. They barely even qualify as a bug. They qualify more almost like an animal because they're so pretty and so cute. And my point is with this is that that's your whole dilemma, is that all your life you were trying to pretend like you're one of the other insects. Like, not that everyone around you is an insect, they're just using this as an analogy, that you were trying to pretend to be just like everybody else, that you almost put yourself even more down, lowered yourself below their level, because it's like, well, some of these other insects, they have wings. I don't even have wings. I just have to like crawl around and keep my head low and not ruffle any feathers. And I'm just gonna, I'm just this small little bug, not bothering anybody. And Spirit is saying your transformation is coming, and they are saying it is like coming with a vengeance. It is coming full bore. That you are about to shed your old skin, and you are about to fly out of these circumstances that have held you hostage, is actually what they're saying. I don't know why you have felt kind of held hostage. Maybe maybe you've just felt trapped by situations, but they're actually saying felt trapped by the ways people perceived you, and that you weren't meant to ever be seen like that, because you were never just like all the other insects. You were never just a bug that was just one thing. You have this gift of transformation, and that transformation comes from your heart. And that right now you are in this cocoon phase. You've been just holding yourself in. You've been kind of gathering, and maybe kind of like in a hermit phase, just gathering and holding all of your energy inside of you. And Spirit is saying you are about to bloom, and you are actually going to not only transform and grow these wings, they're going to be the most beautiful wings that anybody has ever seen. Because just like we were talking about earlier, your authentic expression is so beautiful. It's more beautiful than anybody else's. It sets you apart. Nobody else will have the wings like you have. And it's going to set you free. You're going to leave these circumstances that have made you feel stuck, in these precepts of yourself. And you're going to leave it, I'm hearing, with peace, with kindness, and with forgiveness. Because you're not going to be holding any cords, any attachments to your south node, to what you left in the past. You might even be a Lilith conjunct the south node as well, which Spirit is saying just means that it makes the connection with the past life even more strong, because it represents a bit of how you identified in a past life, that you maybe were felt like you had to identify with that shame. And Spirit is saying that was never for you to identify with. You never should have been ashamed of yourself, that you had nothing to be ashamed of. You should be proud of yourself. You're one of a kind. You are beautiful, is what they're saying. Your soul is beautiful. What I'm hearing is the way this will come through, the way you will transform, is by allowing yourself to have faith in your freedom, is what I'm hearing. Faith in the authenticity of your expression, and faith in your truth, and to not block your truth anymore. And they're saying to stop binding yourself in a position of your own authority, saying you're not allowed to express yourself. They're saying the second that you start expressing your authentic self, it's going to be like boom. It's going to be like lightning. All of these new opportunities and things will be coming to you because it's going to be attracted to you. They're saying you might get backlash at first, and they're saying, but there's a part of you that wants to just say, like, bring it. Like, bring that backlash. Like, why should a butterfly feel ashamed of its beautiful colors, of its wings, of the thing that sets it apart? Of course the other insects will maybe be afraid of it at first. Actually, I think I've heard that somewhere, that butterflies have those beautiful designs on their wings because it scares the other insects, because they think that it's like a face, that they think that like certain markings and stuff, that it looks like it has a face and a great big mouth and eyes, and so they stay away from it, or maybe ostracize it or treat it like an outcast. But this is a protection for that butterfly, and this is an analogy for you, that you're that maybe as you express yourself more, as you come out of your comfort zone more, as you start to be your truth, and as you start to behave in a manner that expresses your true heart and your true authenticity. And even though it will be scary, because expression of the heart is probably one of the scariest things in the world, because nothing is more fragile than our heart. Our heart is our most vital organ out of everything in the body. Some vital organs, or some organs, you can take out of the body and still live, or at least portions of it, but with the heart, you just can't survive without your heart. And so it's the most vulnerable part of ourselves, and so therefore this is like a very scary Black Moon Lilith to have to face, because it's like, yes, you're going to have to feel vulnerable. Yes, you're going to be out of your comfort zone, but yes, it's going to make you fierce. It's gonna bring all your dreams into fruition. It's going to make you be the star that you were born to be. I keep seeing the star card with this reading. And that you are not meant to be hiding in the dark with all the other insects. You were meant to fly out of this. You are meant to fly away. And even if they criticize you at first, it's not going to matter, because you're going to be in a higher ground. So just keep that in mind. What they are afraid of is the fact that they see that you're so much stronger than them. And that this conclusion, that you're going to find this in your heart soon. And I believe with the double eclipse points, I don't know what's going on with your personal astrology, but I believe with the eclipse points, that possibly whenever you're watching this, that the current eclipses, wherever the nodes are at this time, like right now it's 2022, but this is a timeless reading, that it's going to start to unlock with the eclipses of that year, or this year. So I feel like you're probably highly attached. You might be having a nodal return right now as well, which means whatever the north and the south node are in transit, is going to be activating this in you. So I'm just shuffling right now to get a final card for my pile number 2. So may I please get one more card, pile number 2. And we have, ooh, okay. We have Awakening. Let's see what it says underneath. It says, energetic upgrades, a new way of being, integration. That's such a pretty card, actually. Those pastel colors. It really reminds me of what we were talking about for you, pile number 2. Because it's just so unique, just the color contrast. And I really love how you see she's being lifted up, but she's being lifted up from her chest first. All the rest of her body is falling behind, but it's actually like she's leading with the heart. She's leading with the heart chakra. And that is what Spirit wants you to do in order to heal your Black Moon Lilith that has plagued you, that has put you in this shell, that has made you feel ashamed of yourself, that has made you maybe even feel trapped or uptight, or like you couldn't find love, or that maybe you even felt like nobody loved you for who you really are. The Spirit is saying, love yourself and lead with your heart chakra. Lead with that true authenticity of your soul, and it's going to awaken within you all the power of your true talent. And that talent is going to come with resources that you never even imagined were possible. And it's just going to come to you like magic, is what they're saying. It's going to be like magic. You're not even going to have to try. You just have to try to be true to yourself, is what I'm hearing. Okay, pile number 2. I really enjoyed reading for you. If you enjoyed this, please don't forget to hit that like button, because that just helps my channel to grow. And please don't forget to comment below, because that's like my most favorite part of doing these pick-a-cards is I love hearing from you guys. So if it connected with you, or even if it didn't, I just like to hear from you, and I like to hear what your zodiac signs are and how you felt like it connected with your energy, or what insights you might have had when you were watching this. I love hearing from you guys. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you are not subscribed already, and if you'd like to see more videos like this, let me know. And don't forget to ring the bell, because that will just notify you anytime I upload more videos like this. So with all that said, pile number 2, I loved reading for you. I hope you have a beautiful, amazing, and blessed day and blessed life. And I look forward to reading for you again in the future. Hope you have an amazing one. Bye, guys. Hello, pile number 3. If you chose pile number 3 with this beautiful lightning bolts amethyst crystal right here, then this reading is for you. Now, pile number 3, I have to start out your reading with a little bit of a disclaimer. I actually have already done your reading, recorded your reading, and something went wrong with my computer. We're in a Mercury retrograde, and it deleted it. So I thought it was such an important, powerful reading, I decided to keep all the same cards and redo the reading for you. So a lot of this will be going off of my memory of what came through with that reading, as well as if additional messages come through, then I will be giving that to you as well. So just wanted you to know that and to keep that in mind. It's very interesting, because I thought yours was the most powerful out of all of the readings that I did so far. And of course, that's the one that got zapped. So we are redoing it so that you can hear these messages. So with all that said, let's go ahead and get on into your reading. So pile number 3, we have the 7 of Swords, we have the World, we have the Knight of Swords, we have the King of Pentacles, and the Devil. I'm trying to move that so you can see. So interestingly enough, pile number 3, with your pile, you got more cards than all the other piles. More cards just kind of came flying out when I shuffled them. And you got one extra card. And what's interesting here is you have two major arcanas, which means that they are major themes and that they play a major role in your life. So you have the World card as a major arcana, and you have the Devil card. And the other interesting thing is you have two of the Court cards in both, which is kind of rare to have come out, is to have two major arcana and two Court cards. So you have the Knight of Swords and you have the King of Pentacles. So let's get into this pile number 3. Now, what your Black Moon Lilith is, and you might hear me use present tense and past tense since I already did this reading. So just bear with me. I might go back and forth on my tenses. But what your pile was telling me is that your Black Moon Lilith, which Black Moon Lilith represents a wound from a past life that has created a bit of a traumatic fear that we are meant to overcome in this life. And yours actually pertains greatly to betrayal. What came through was that you possibly have your Black Moon Lilith in the 8th house. You might have it in the sign of Scorpio. You might have it in the 12th. You might have it in any of the water houses or any houses that have to do with that which is hidden. Because what I'm getting with this is that you were in a past life, Spirit was saying that you were a conqueror. Now, what they meant by that is that you were somebody that had such great capacity. You would dash into any situation that was thrown at your way and you would conquer it. No matter the obstacle, you conquered it. It was like life and people kept throwing you obstacles and nothing could keep you down. You were able to outsmart, outfox, and outwit anything that came your way. And we can see this coming through with the symbolism. I mean, we do have the fox here, but also with the snake. Snakes symbolically are very similar to a fox. I know that in today's culture we use snakes as a bad omen, but in ancient times they were seen as an omen of wisdom. And that just like the fox that can outwit all its enemies and is very, very sly. And Spirit gave me this this message about who you were. That you were somebody that had unlimited capacity in a prior existence. And that it caught the attention of people of great prominence of your time period. It caught the attention of people with great means, great resources, great power. And they wanted to kind of use you as their own. They wanted to harness those resources. They wanted to harness that power for their own will, for their own things that they want to bring into fruition from their desires. And they kind of latched onto you and they gave you great power. And you really liked this at first. Because spiritually, the spirit guides call you that your character is like, they call you a conqueror. They say your character is like a great conqueror. And they use that in the broad sense of the term, not just like you're conquering obstacles. They want you to know that it's that too, but it's also this capacity to explore, to expand, to not be afraid to take on challenges and not be afraid to take on the adventure of life. And Spirit is saying you might be saying to yourself that maybe you don't see yourself that way right now. And they're saying that's because that's where that Lilith wound has come in. That this is still within your spirit. This is still within your soul. This adventurous expansive, adventurous, and kind of this go-getter energy is still within you, but you got wounded deeply from what happened in a past lifetime. Now, what they said happened in a past lifetime, and what your Lilith wound represents, is betrayal. And it was the betrayal. They said that you were betrayed by. They said that you were betrayed by the world. They said you were betrayed by the world around you. That it was more than, you did get betrayed by friends and you did get betrayed by family, but it was bigger than that. It was that they betrayed you on like a, what Spirit is saying, they betrayed the mission. That you had these great plans to make things better. You had these great plans of what you were going to achieve. You were working with people in high position. You were given authority, and due to jealousy on other people's parts, and I'm also hearing due to fear, that those in power were afraid of your power because they could see the amount of power you had and achievement, and that even when you were on their side, they feared that you would maybe not stay obedient to them, especially the deeper in you got. And that was really what was coming through with this, is that you were lifted up in prior lifetimes into a position that you got to kind of see the other side, kind of like a world that everybody else didn't get to see, especially during that time period. And it was due to your strong will, your talents, and your capacity to achieve, your capacity to conquer. And Spirit is saying it's not that you were born into this, like, position of privilege. It's that people in privileged positions saw you for what you were and gave you opportunities because they wanted to use you, because they could see how much power it is that you had, and they wanted to use you as a resource. And they trusted you. And what Spirit says is that you came to the point that you saw like the gritty underbelly of what was really you saw the dark side of power. And it wasn't that you were dark. It was because they're saying your great power, your great force, your great conquering energy came from the light. And that was what you were here to do. That's why you were blessed with it. It's a part of your soul that you had acquired from many lifetimes. And that you were just bursting with this abundance of resources. And they're saying that you saw that the messages that I got was that you saw all of these practices that those who were in position of power, whether it was kings or governments or ruling class, you saw these people, and you were involved with them, and they trusted you, and they gave you their secrets, and you started to see not just the corruption that they were about, the corruption of their intentions is what Spirit was saying. It was more than just that. You saw their corruption of spirituality. You saw certain dark practices and dark secrets that that they were involved in, and you tried to you looked where you shouldn't have, is what Spirit said. And not that Spirit didn't want you to look there. It was your destiny to see these things. But that is what created the wound, is because you saw into the darkness, is what they said. And you saw, and because of that, these people wanted to shut you up. And this is where the Lilith wound comes from. They wanted to shut you up because they didn't know how strongly attached you were to your concept of justice, of goodness. They thought that they could use your resources. They thought that they could kind of almost like put a spell on you to use you on their side. And a lot of it actually had to do with dark spiritual practices. So you may have a deep knowledge, whether you've untapped it or not, within yourself that's come from prior lifetimes of spirituality, of psychic abilities, and possibly just like of occult and psychic and spiritual practices. And you might be fascinated with this in this lifetime. And the Spirit is saying that that is remnants of a past life. And that in that lifetime, you saw what they were doing. You saw how they were manipulating people for their own gain. You saw the corruption. And you were actually, because of the character that you were going to outfox them. You were going to outwit them. You were going to take them on as the next challenge. But what came through was just like this devil card right here. It's a very interesting devil card. Because if you look, it's almost like the hands of this kind of demon-like creature over her mouth that are kind of creating almost like a cage with the nails, with the claws over her mouth, keeping her mouth shut. And what Spirit said is that you worked in the dark at first to try, and you were going to either expose these things, but it was kind of more than that. You were going to tear these things down. You were going to shift the world, is what I was hearing, that you were going to shift their power. You were meant to shift the power and the authority, and you got betrayed by the person that you were working with that was a friend that you thought was going to help you to bring these people down. And what was coming through before was that this energy was, you might actually know this person in this lifetime because of the karma attached. And this person might have betrayed you again in this lifetime. And the energy that Spirit was giving me was that it was like that this person was possibly Gemini or Libra energy. Now, that doesn't mean, to be wary of all Geminis or Libras. I happen to love both those energies, and I actually have a lot of that energy in my chart. But so I'm not speaking bad of that energy, but Spirit had a message that was the energy that person represented in that lifetime, and that it was because of their cunning of their mind that you couldn't see through the maze, and you got betrayed. And that betrayal made you doubt your conquering ability. I'm hearing they put you in a cage, they put you in a box, and that made it so that your mind, which was so free, which was your greatest resource, your greatest weapon, is what I'm hearing, was your mind. And it made you stop using it as a tool of conquering, because it was your mind, your will, that kept conquering all of these challenges in life. That was your greatest resource. And that the dark didn't want you to be exposing its secrets. And so the only thing it could do, because they knew that nothing could stop you in this life, in that life, that it actually, what they said that came through was that none of them could stop you, and they know they couldn't stop you, so they had to devise a way that you would stop you. And that is what has happened, and that is what your Lilith wound represents, is that it's that you chose to keep your mouth shut to all the evils of the world. You chose to keep your eyes shut to the darkness that you were meant to expose. And you became maybe even a little bit afraid or traumatized of the dark, whereas in the past you would have you would have actually, like, I see you like just dashing after anything that was in your way, that you had just such this conquering, triumphant spirit. And they made you fear yourself. They made you fear your own voice. They made you stop you. And that stopped your power. And that's where this wound has come from. You probably have extreme, remember, Lilith always represents a fear. And so you probably have this extreme, possibly subconscious fear, because I really feel strongly that this is like 8th house energy, and possibly 8th house Scorpio energy, or 12th house energy could be coming through as well, Piscean energy as well. But I'm also getting Sagittarius, possibly having a Lilith and Sagittarius. And of course, this is a collective reading, so this could be for a couple of people, a lot of people. And anyway, so what I'm hearing is that the dark managed to make you work against you, and that in this lifetime it presents itself as self-doubt and self-discouragement. And I'm also hearing that an unwillingness to trust anyone, and that includes yourself. That they broke your trust of the human spirit, and that includes you because of what was done to you. And I think that whatever was done was more than just like imprisonment and captivity. I do believe something like that happened, but Spirit is giving me that it had something also to do with their, well, I'll just say what they're saying, like kind of freaky spiritual practices that might have been done on you in that lifetime as punishment. And I don't really know what that means, because I don't know much about that, but that's what Spirit is saying, that it was kind of like they used kind of like their dark magic and their dark spirituality as a means to harm you in a prior lifetime. And this lifetime, they don't hold any power over you, and you are meant to overcome these things, but you have to overcome the wound first. And the wound was that your wound is really coming from this place of betrayal, of feeling so deeply betrayed and feeling so deeply abandoned, is what Spirit is saying. So deeply abandoned by the world, that you almost feel like you have no place in the world, because in the past you felt like you could conquer the world, and they made you believe that the world didn't have a place for you, that you weren't meant to be a part of it, and you carry that wound within you, kind of believing in all the darkness in the world, whereas in the past you had this conquering spirit that you believed in the light more than the dark, and that made it so you were able to triumph over anything that came in your direction, even though you weren't born into a position of prominence or of means. You were able to crawl your way out of any challenge and make lemons out of lemonade, or sorry, other way around. It's Mercury retrograde still. Make lemonade out of lemons. So yeah, anyway, so that was kind of the energy I was getting with the past life. And it might still be represented today in this life, was what Spirit was saying, as coming through as major trust issues, and that you maybe have major trust and boundary issues with other people, where you either create too many boundaries or you don't know how to set them correctly, where you let people walk on your boundaries. And that you have trust issues that are reflective of not just having a problem with trusting others, but that the trust issues show that you aren't truly trusting yourself. That for whatever reason you blamed yourself, and you turned all that courage that you had in a past life and that conquering spirit against you. And and Spirit is saying it's time to heal that. So the next cards I pulled, we have, trying to remember the order, it was Nothing Will Come of This Situation. We have, I think it went in this order, we have Bring Love Into the Situation, New Moon in Aquarius, and we have Don't Let Pride Get in Your Way, Full Moon in Leo. That's right. Now, what's interesting with this, what came through, is it's kind of interesting. This is a very strong eclipse energy, and a message that came through was that Spirit said that that you might have North or South Node in Leo or Aquarius, and or you might have like the Sun conjunct your South Node or Uranus conjunct your South Node. Because the South Node represents who we were in a past life, and having planets conjunct there or the sign there represents the character and also what we did in that prior existence, what we were masterful at in that lifetime. And you definitely have a lot of this very strong Leo energy for your characteristic, very Leo Aquarius energy. You could be one or the other. I was also getting strong Aries. Now, with the new moon in Aquarius and the full moon in Leo, it's interesting because a new moon and a full moon represent, they kind of represent eclipses. They're in opposition to each other. So that would be like a North Node in Aquarius and a South Node in Leo. But those are just some things Spirit wanted me to pull out that came through when I first did the reading. And what Spirit wanted me to tell you is with these cards was that the way you heal this Lilith is they were being kind of harsh, and what they said to do was just drop it. And I know that's easier said than done. But that's what was coming through, was they said, just drop it. Drop this energy that you're holding on to. Drop this feeling of nothingness that you feel like you seep into, because they were giving me this image of this kind of 8th house Lilith or Scorpio energy of feeling kind of all alone, isolated, and in this situation of complete like nihilism, of nothingness. And Spirit is saying that is not your nature, that is not your character. And when your Lilith gets triggered, it takes you there. And they were saying to just drop it, to just let it go, that you were holding on to the darkness that was put upon you, and that's not for you to hold. You have way too much light in your soul, that there's no space for it, that you should not keep holding space for things which don't have a place. I don't know why I'm rhyming, but that's what they said. Don't keep holding space for things that don't have a place within you. And Spirit was saying the best way for you to step into this healing energy is to let go of thinking of yourself, and to step into the energy of thinking of the way your actions will benefit others, because Spirit was saying you have such a huge, magnanimous heart, and that you have this beautiful royal energy within you, and that the thing that stops you is that you get caught up on all these thoughts that are pertaining to yourself, saying that you think you're not good enough, saying that you think that everything will just turn towards dark, and saying that you don't believe that anything good can come out of this situation with this card right there. But that's you kind of going off course when that happens. The way to bring yourself back to center is to think of the passion that you naturally have for justice. Think of the passion you naturally have for helping others. Think of the passion you naturally have for and the love that you naturally have for humanity, for helping others, for changing the situation. And then you will see things change. You will see the energy shift, because Spirit was saying that you are a great energy shifter, and that once you heal this Lilith wound, then you'll step into what you were before, which was a great transformer of energy. Now, the last two cards that came through, I was only going to do one, but two fell out when I shuffled. That was with the first reading. And we have Mintucken, longing for home, belonging, the original light workers. And we have you're already doing it, stop overthinking, keep facing your true north. Now, with these two, I really felt like those abandonment issues that you had that came through from this Lilith wound is what Spirit really wants to heal within you. And Spirit is saying that you're such a powerful, conquering person, whether you see that or not in yourself, that that the only person who can save you from this is you. And that the way that you can save yourself from this fear and overcoming this dark moon Lilith that is taken a hold upon you is to not try and look for where you belong, but try and look for what you belong doing. And to not be afraid to look ahead to the future, because Spirit was saying really that you are a visionary, and that it was that vision of a new light, of a new transformative future, that the dark wanted to stop within you, because they wanted you to stop from exploring, and that's what that wound managed to do. That it made you feel like you don't belong, and that was saying that your vision of the way the world should be does not belong, that your principles don't belong, that who you are at your core, what you represent, does not belong in this world. And that was absolutely wrong. You do belong, and your vision does belong in this world. And what was coming through is that you have the ability to not only transform this world, but that you have the ability to that you're going to have a ripple effect. All your actions will have a ripple effect upon many, many generations. And Spirit said that the way that you can step into this energy is to not be looking or setting your precepts or what you need to attain in this lifetime upon the physical things or upon the glory of this world, but instead look to the higher realms, look to higher principles, look to things of spirituality, because it's really your vision that is your greatest gift in this life. And that the way you get past this deep fear, this deep betrayal that has been put upon you, and this deep feeling of abandonment within you, is by keeping your eye upon the higher things, upon the higher worlds, upon the higher vision that you know is already within you, and really believing that it's possible. And if you believe it, and if you put your belief and your intention into that, then there's nothing that could stop you, and there's nothing that could stop it from coming. Because there's, just like in your past life, there is nothing that is forsaken of you. All the gifts that you need, all the things that you want are meant to come down into this earthly plane, because you have a beautiful vision of what the world could be. And so Spirit is saying that you're already on that path, just to stop doubting yourself and to give yourself more love and more kindness, and to focus more upon the love and goodness that you can bring into others' lives, the love and goodness that your work and your vision can bring into others' lives, rather than focusing on how maybe it might be received, or all the negative thoughts. Think more upon all the ways in which you're actually going to be helping people, because that's going to lift you up, and that's what lifted you up in past lives. So pile number 3, I hope you enjoyed this reading. I enjoyed reading for you. If you did enjoy it, please don't forget to give me a thumbs up, because that helps my channel to grow. And also, please don't forget to comment below, because I really love to hear from you guys. That's my favorite part of doing these readings, is reading your comments. So please don't forget to comment below and comment your zodiac signs, as I love to hear all about that. With all that said, if you're not subscribed already, please feel free to subscribe if you want to see more videos like this from me in the future. And with all that said, I hope you have a beautiful and amazing day and blessed life. See you in the next reading, guys. Bye!